Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Brandon Cruz Daily Fantasy Podcast, where I go and look at loan plays and strategies specifically designed for GPPs. This is a show for people who are already informed on daily fantasy sports and how these contests operate. If you have any questions related to NASCAR, this isn't a super question, feel free to shoot it my way at BrandonCruzDFS on Twitter. Most importantly, take everything you hear with a grain of salt and use your best judgment when making entries. Additionally, if you have a gambling addiction, that is just not my problem. Check your sense of feelings at the door. We're looking at the Xfinity Series at Texas this weekend. I guess this really isn't a podcast anymore. It's more of a video, but I really don't want to change that intro. And I took more of these down. The ones that are still up, you can't really see. I got more going up. They're with command strips. The ones that fell down were with just another way that I didn't really believe in, but I did it because it was cheaper. And we'll get the background put up eventually. But we're looking at Texas this weekend. Hold on. I forgot to do this. There you go. We're looking at Texas this weekend for the Xfinity Series, and let's just get right down into it. Also, let's just talk about last week's race very quickly. Let me see if I can find the lineup that I had, because I like to bring these things up whenever I feel that it's important to, or whenever I feel that it can help people out, or at least reviewing things. You got to look at what you did right, what you did wrong. Let's see where are you at, Xfinity Series. Okay, so last week at Kansas, I was on the Austin-centric. I'm only playing online, but I do want to talk about this. So wait a minute. Let me find the big Xfinity Series contest. Actually, we're going to talk about the $33 one, because I think that's probably the best contest for the Xfinity Series. I probably won't play it this week. I don't know. I was this close to not making anything, not even playing NASCAR DFS this weekend after just, basically this frustrating run for the Xfinity Series. This last weekend was just really frustrating. I really wanted to break. Came into it last night. I was like, oh, well, I got money in the DraftKings account. It's good enough to last the 3 races. I'm just going to, yet again, go back into it. So that's why, I did this sheet last night, recording this now. Anyway, let's look at the $33 lineup that I entered. Austin-centric, 62.74% owned into 33. Obviously, if things go well, or if he doesn't get wrecked, obviously different things happen there. But 62%, that's interesting for, the high rollers, or at least, $33 on a single entry. I think this is a, what is it? This one is a 6-entry max, so obviously not like a single entry. I trade as a single entry, but not a huge amount of lineups coming from everybody in this contest. So only 62% took this. I assume the other. Let's see what Briscoe was at here. Briscoe was 24% owned. Real good pivot there for this feller. Let me go back. I'll get back to why this is important in a second. Anyway, Briscoe at 62% owned. Harrison Burton, 63% owned. Anthony Alfredo, 62% owned. Brett Moffatt, 45% owned. Jesse Little, 49% owned. So this is the lineup that I made, and I'm missing my last driver here, and I'll tell you why. So this is the lineup I made, entering this type of contest. Look, I wanted to be safe. These guys offered a huge amount of upside, and it worked really well. The lap before, Gregson and Cindric wrecked, all these guys were in the top 15, and everybody other than Alfredo, or everybody other than Little and the other guy that I have in this lineup were inside the top, I believe, 8, I think. And it was looking like a good line. But if you look at the percentages on these guys, Cindric, Burton, Alfredo, Moffatt, Little, these guys were stupidly high owned, and that left you going to about 2 other guys. That left you going to Jesse Iwuji, who I told you is horrible. I don't know why people think he's a good driver. This cat is horrible. And another guy, Dexter Bean, was also around this area in salary, and I saw nobody talking about him. And in situations like this, to where, hey, he's starting 34th, nobody's really talking about him. He hasn't really performed that great, but I guarantee you he's going to have lower ownership than Jesse Iwuji. I guarantee he's going to have lower ownership than the other guy. So I looked into it, and I played Dexter Bean, which ended up being a great play. Started 34th, finished 16th. The DGM cars have shown a lot of speed. The 90 car in particular, Dexter Bean, has struggled a little bit. If you look at Ray Cicerelli running it, or not Ray Cicerelli, I forgot the other guy who runs it at Daytona. He's wrecked this year. Dexter Bean has had mechanical issues here and there, and so Dexter Bean just not having any ownership, that's who I decided to go with. And here the pivot worked. Obviously, all the other plays. Josh Reaume, that was the other one in the 47. I knew Reaume was going to have mechanical failures. I knew that. People still played him. People still played Jesse Iwuji. And when you're being forced towards bad plays, especially down at the bottom of the barrel, just pivot. Just say YOLO. I'm going to take a dude who's lower owned, who probably has better equipment and nobody's talking about Dexter Bean. That's important because BJ McLeod is in that car this weekend. Obviously this line did not cash because I had Austin Cindric, but that's how I counterbalanced the high ownership that I had between the other. Actually, what am I doing? I need this out. That's how I countered the high ownership with the other drivers. Is just playing like the lowest owned guy that I thought could perform very well. He was even lower owned in the $8, even lower owned in the $12. 33 typically has the most, touts. I know Stevie from Roto Grinders plays in it. Osimo is in it. I know Jason from Free NASCAR DFS plays in that. I know a lot of the guys who actually do this for a living or actually put time and effort into playing DFS plays in that line a lot. So that's a much harder contest to play, and if you don't know what you're doing. But I just want to say that. So, like, if you see situations to where guys are lower owned, like, I guarantee you Dexter Bean is optimal. I didn't even didn't bother looking because I didn't cash. But I know Dexter Bean was probably optimal. He was probably the punt that you needed. And Anthony Alfredo, probably he wasn't optimal, but he didn't kill you. Like, say if I had Briscoe and Anthony Alfredo, or if I had Briscoe, I would have cashed anyway. But if Anthony Alfredo was the only guy who wrecked in your line, you probably would have been good. I just wanted to say that really quick because you guys got to look for, lower owned plays or pivots that nobody talks about, or how I look. Because I didn't even talk about Dexter Bean in my video. I didn't even look at him until about 2 hours before lock, looking at where I thought the ownership was going to. That's why I played Dexter Bean in that situation, and that's things you have to look at. So don't always. I'm just making sure it's still recording. So don't always. Live and die by either my videos or what other people are talking about. If you got a feeling for somebody that nobody's talking about, just take a long shot on them. Just do it. Trust yourself. Trust what you're doing. Let's look at this weekend's race here. We got Kyle Weatherman starting dead last. I got I'm trying to be really aggressive on my rankings to really pinpoint, where I'm feeling people being at. Remember that these rankings are of my own head. I'm not really doing anything related to stats or looking at race rating or anything like that. That is in the sheet that I use, not the one I make, the one that I use, the Race for the Prize sheet. Go to racefortheprize.com to get the Fantasy NASCAR spreadsheet. $20 for the remaining races this year. I believe that's what's on the website because we've got 2 races in November this weekend left. I'm pretty sure it's $20 for the rest of the year. That's Pierce's sheet. That's where all the information is that you should look at when you're creating lineups. It's got lap data, it's got driver rating, it has his projections, it has literally everything you need. If you're overpaying for, optimizers or, projections or just touts to tell you what to play, like I'm not going to say the sites, but pretty much if you're paying at any site per month, it's stupidly expensive. Help him out. $20 for the Race for the Price sheet for the rest of this year, and it's free next year. So just keep that in mind. Kyle Weatherman starting dead last. This car, if you saw the video that I posted on YouTube last night talking about what I look at when I'm looking at cars from a guy who worked on cars, this is going to be probably one of the better cars that he's going to run this year. Don't know about it mechanically, but at least body-wise, it's one of the newer cars that he's ran this year. Let me bring this sheet up on here. It's one of the better cars that he's ran this year. I got a little bit of interest because he's starting dead last. His price it doesn't kill you. Waiting for this to load on my iPad. His price doesn't kill you at Kyle Weatherman is $6,100. Look, starting dead last, like that does not kill you. I think he finishes around 29th. If a mechanical failure doesn't happen, I think he can finish better. We've seen him run better at the 1.5 miles this year. We've just seen constant issues from the MHR cars this year. Stephen Light, I got no interest in him at all. CJ Mclaughlin, look, I'm I'm pretty sure he's just going to be in the naked 78 car this week. Could be worse, could be better. I mean, he's a better play than Stephen Light. He's a better play than Ryan Vargas, in my opinion, but I'm not going to really focus on him. Kobe Howard back in this 15 car this weekend. This 15 car needs points. They need ownership points to get a bonus at the end of the year. They cannot afford to keep running poorly. They put Jesse Little in that car. Obviously, he finished well at Kansas last weekend, but he had an issue at the previous race that I can't remember what it was. I don't remember where they were 2 weeks ago. But Kobe Howard is back in this car. Look, I have him projected for 26th. We've seen him run very well at, I think it was the first Kansas race earlier this year, where he was inside the top 15, inside fighting for a top 10, then he wrecked. So obviously we've seen him run better. I got to see them projection of 24th for this race. Jesse Iwuji, and I think Kobe Howard's going to be really chalky. I mean, he's going to be, the safest play that you can do starting, 25th on back. Jesse Iwuji, yet again, based on these last 2 weeks, I think there's going to be ownership on Jesse Iwuji. I don't know why, man. This guy is horrible. He's horrible. He's in bad equipment. I said last week that, sorry, my sleeves keep rolling down. I said last week he's probably in the best equipment. And I understand he finished well at the road course in the 13 for NBA Motorsports. But do you know why he finished well there? Let's look at where Jesse Iwuji finished in the road course. And you can tell I'm in a very rant mood today. But let's look at Road America. He finished he was 34th on average on speed, or 34th race rating. He finished 26th at Road America. Do you know why he finished 26th at Road America? It's because nobody could lap him. That track is like 4 miles long. So when you're off pace running a race rating of 34th, you don't get lapped. People wreck. He takes advantage of late wrecks because he's so far behind. He was talking about on the Roval about how he didn't even have a wiper for half that race. What the heck? He didn't even have a wiper for half of that race because it broke off or it was having issues there. So people see, Jesse Iwuji, he at a road course, he finished 26. I mean, he's got talent. He does not have talent, my friend. He just, by sheer attrition, did fine at Kansas. Last week finished 27th. That doesn't win you anything. At his price, at $6,000, if he does the same thing again, which I imagine he probably will be in the range of 32nd to 27th the entire race, if he does that, he doesn't help you out. But people are going to play him because he's a lieutenant commander in the military. NBC, this is the only guy in the backfield that NBC talks about is Jesse Iwuji. That's it. That's the only guy they talk about. So everybody's like, I recognize that name. We got to play him, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. Not interested there. Ryan Vargas. Yet again, another meme. I didn't even have to write it here because you guys already know where I stand on Ryan Vargas. Something's going to happen. Last week they had issues starting the car or firing the car. He had to get a push start. I mean, this is the JD Motorsports car, but it's Ryan Vargas. I assume that he brought TikTok in as a sponsorship. They're sponsoring JD Motorsports. I understand they're sponsoring Ryan Vargas, but I guarantee that money is being spread out amongst JD Motorsports and not just Ryan Vargas' car. I got no faith in Ryan Vargas this weekend. BJ McLeod is a B for me. I got a lot of interest in it. He's in the 90 car. Dexter Bean ran it last race. You just saw how I ran about Dexter Bean at the start of this race of why he was a great play. The DGM cars are all pretty much in good starting positions this week, but these cars have vastly improved since the start of the year. Even the back marker that was the 90 car that sometimes wasn't sponsored. I don't believe they ever start in park this year. Sometimes you see them start in park last year or the year before. This time I believe the 90 has actually tried to attempt, running the full race. He has a sponsorship. I know it's a pink car. I looked at it. I don't remember what it was. Work hard, something work related. Cody Vanderbilt, not gonna like it. No interest. Cody Vanderbilt will probably be trapped laps down. I expect this race to go very green. It's unlike the truck race where you'll see incidents here and there. I just expect this to be a lap turner. People are gonna get lapped. People are gonna get trapped laps down. That's just how it's gonna be. Joe Graff Jr. starting 28th. Don't like him starting. I don't like him starting 28th. I don't have any interest in him. I don't think it at all. Like I said, Jesse Little is back at the good car for JD Motorsports. He's going to have a lot of chalk. I'll be interested in him as well. I'll probably run a Jesse Little, BJ McLeod pivot off of Kobe Howard in my line. I'm assuming that's what's going to happen. Matt Mills starting 26, too high up, not interested. Timmy Hill starting 25th, too high up for me, not interested. Even if he's in the 13 car, not interested. Bailey Curry starting too high. There's no way this car makes it the race. I can't even remember English properly, but there's no way this car finishes the race. I imagine we'll see a mechanical failure. Something will happen here. David Starr, better plays, underperforming this equipment, not interested. Matt Snyder starting 22nd. I rank him as B because based around the guys he's starting around, I think he's a better play than other guys. At the same time, he might be chalky, he might not. I don't know. People get tilted with Myatt Snyder. I mean, people get tilted with Myatt Snyder. If nobody's playing Myatt Snyder, which we've seen before earlier in the year when he'd be starting around here, and then nobody would play him, but then he'd have a mechanical issue, or he wouldn't start the race, or something would happen, or they lost a motor at Bristol or whatever. So he hasn't performed well. But I mean, he's a better play than Starr, than Earnhardt, than Curly, Timmy Hill, Matt Mills. He's a great play starting 22nd. We just got to see where ownership comes in. I'm interested in him. There's that. Jeffrey Earnhardt, I told you last week, or I told you previous weeks, that I'm interested to see how he would perform entering the 1.5 miles with his new sponsor. Not doing anything. No interest there. Alex Lebaye, probably my favorite play is Alex Lebaye. I normally don't get to Alex Lebaye much, but if you look at his finishes, I mean, and you can look at race rating too, but we're just going to talk about finishes really quick, because if you want to look at, higher detail, lap data, racewiththeprize.com. If you look at the finishing order, Kansas, he finished 23rd. That's why he's starting 20th right here. But look at the races before. Roval, finished 4th. Dega finished 11th. Las Vegas 32nd. Bristol 13th. Richmond 12th. Richmond number 1, 23rd. Darlington 16th. I mean, he's been an up and down guy, but I don't think people are going to play him. I don't think he runs poorly. We saw last week the DGM cars ran very well. They're going to stay on the lead lap in a situation where I believe this race is going to be a lap turner. I want to play him over people like, Jesse Little, or I want to play him over people like Joe Graff Jr., Ryan Vargas, Jesse Wuji. I'd much rather play Alex Lebaye. Sorry, I keep forgetting where I am. Riley Herbst going to be a chalk play. That's how it's going to be. Priced well, place differential. Can't say much about there. Same thing with Anthony Alfredo. Died last weekend. Starting 18th. He's back. You gotta play these guys. And it's interesting. I'm not sure how I want to approach building a lineup. I'm not sure where I want to place my punts in the back, because obviously we're going to stack probably Briscoe and Cindric together, or Briscoe with somebody, or you might just go Cindric and pray that he gets to the front, but you're going to at least take, 2 guys starting inside the top 15. So while I like a lot of these guys in the back, it just depends on how my salary is when I'm making lineups, who I'm going to go with. Jeremy Clements, I just think there's better plays. I'd much rather play Brandon Brown over that. Austin Hill, I think this is going to be bad chalk. Look, I played Austin Hill a lot this year. I've been with him through the good days, through the bad days, but I just got a feeling people are going to hop on Austin Hill. They see that, Hattori is finally kicking a good car with NBA Motorsports. It's going to work out. I think he does bad. I think he finishes outside the top 20. I don't want to play Austin Hill. I just don't. He's $8,100. Going to be easy to fit in lineups. I imagine when people are making lineups, they're going to, have $8,000 left in the line, something around there, and they're going to click Austin Hill because, he fills out a lineup. I don't really want to deal with Austin Hill there. Josh Williams, same thing. I mean, he's starting too high up. They're running well compared to how they've ran previous years, but just starting too high up here. Harrison Burton, I think Harrison Burton's a great play, starting 12th if you can afford it. Brett Moffatt, not interested this weekend. Michael Annett, if you want to be different, pivot to Michael Annett. He should finish around, 11th to 8th. That's how I look at it. Noah Gragson should have a top 5 car. We just got to see where it's going. And I know this is put down, but I thought I was going to write more here. Jeb Burton, he's going to wreck. I'm not too interested there. Austin Cindric, don't know what to tell you there. I mean, I think he's probably the best car. He would have won that race last weekend if he didn't get wrecked. And then because, Gragson and Cindric wrecked, Briscoe was just able to pull away from everybody. Chastain, Allgaier. These guys aren't bad plays. I just don't think I can get to him. Ryan Sieg is interesting. He's at a price that he's $8,600. I'm not going to go out of my way to play Ryan Sieg, but if I can make a lineup that I like with him, I might play him because he's in, as we talked about it, or they've only talked about it like once on the broadcast. I don't understand it. They talked about it like Kansas, but he's running an old RCR car or an old RCR chassis. And when people are like, oh, you know, motors tell her, look, the chassis are stupid important in NASCAR. He's got a good car. He should stay inside the top 5. If we can get him leading laps like he did last week, I believe. I think he led laps last week. If we can get him leading laps, getting a top 5 finish, I'm fine with that, man. He should give you 37 to 40 DK points. I would lock him in for that. He can get more if he can stay out, lead laps, if he does something stupid, you know, takes 2 tires or, you know, somehow miraculously gets the lead off of pit road. Don't sleep on Sieg, okay? I don't know if I'm going to play him. I don't know if he'll work. But honestly, if you're going to pivot to anybody in here other than, you know, Cindric and Briscoe, I might go Sieg. But we'll see how it goes. Brandon Jones, Haley, starting second, third, not interested there. Chase Briscoe, you know, starting pole, should easily lead the first portion of the race until Cindric can get through. And then he might keep it because he got the best pit crew on pit road. So we'll see what happens there. But that's how I would look at it here. I had to go back to more of a ranting style anyway. I enjoy that more than being like, oh, you got to play this guy, you got to play this guy, play this guy. I haven't made lineups yet. I was working on this last night, but, you know, that's it. Check out the Truck Series video next. I got a Patreon in the description if you'd like to donate. And thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you in the next video. Catch you in the next vidya, you know. See ya in the next vidya. Peace out, yo.